Okay, just breaking down a trade that I'm currently in at the moment, Australian dollar and Canadian dollar. So Aussie CAD, I took this trade yesterday, it's still live, I'm still in this trade. Let's have a look at what my thought process was throughout this. So firstly, let's just have a look at how the market has been moving. Now on the higher time frame here, we can see that the market moved down fairly impulsively, did turn corrective towards the end. So we had this impulse down, this large correction up to here, and then another impulse down to the bottom as well. So we can see the 1, 2, 3. Now, just staying on the weekly time frame here, I'm just going to draw out some areas of interest. So we saw volume at this point here, which price came back to, and it intersected here. And also on the higher time frame, we can see here that we had this ascending channel which started to squeeze slightly towards the end. And again, just to show the impulsive nature, the correction, and then the move to the downside. Now we can see that the low at the bottom, price did intersect here before it started to move up, and these impulsive waves, or shall I say these the way the price actually moves through the market, it repeats itself quite often as well, because we can see it again here. So we can see the move down, we can see the correction, and then we can see the impulse to the downside as well, and this seems to be a common recurring pattern throughout. So then and just to mark this out, so we can see the correction as price started to move down. So how did we get down to this low over here? This was in the form of a 1, 2, 3. Now as price started to move back up here, this is when I realized, okay, so if price moves in waves, then maybe we are going to get another 1, 2, 3. So I can see this hook point, this footprint here. It's easy to see it on the daily, so let me go to the daily. So as you can see the low here, so as price started to move up impulsively, we can see another correction forming, and immediately what's my mind telling me now? That price is going to come down here, and this is 2, and then move to the upside. So we've got the 1, and then we've got the 2, which is the correction, then we've got the move to the upside. And then moving down to the lower time frame, so if we go down to the daily, and let's have a look at what happened here. And I'm just going to remove this trend line for now. Now on the 4 hour, we saw this impulsive move here, this very sharp drop, which price did come back to try to retest here, but left a small gap. So no doubt at some point it will come back up to test this. But just further down here, we can see that we had another impulsive move to the downside, which then started to form sideways price action, where price did eventually come back to, and it retested it, which can clearly be seen on the 4 hour. And if I just zoom into this, we can see these high wicks. So if you look at these long wicks, which are giving us an indication here that price is moving to the downside, this is what gave me the directional bias that could we get a temporary short before we see the larger move, which I marked out, which will move to the upside. So on the, if I just drop down to the 1 hour, there was a few retests here. Now firstly, we can see that price scooped around and came back to retest this area here. But what was really important, the point that stood out for me, is this low, which price initially did smash through. So we can see this move here. This low was eventually retested. Now I would ignore this wick over here because this was just volatility. I think this was news on a Wednesday. What time was this? This was Wednesday 4 o'clock. So it's just a volatility wick, so I've just ignored it. But we can see that price eventually did come back to here. And although it did come back fairly impulsively back to this point, we did push down from here as well. And we saw the wick through. So here you can see it. We had a solid 1 hour close. Let's just have a look at the 4 hour on this again. Yeah, as you can see here, this 4 hour candle, this was a very strong indication that we are going to be moving back to the downside. So then just dropping down to the 1 hour again, and here is my entry. So again, remember, price moves in waves. So here's the 1, here's the 2, here's the 3. Now when price was correcting after the drop, I marked out this structure here, and if I just zoom into this a little bit more, we can see these two high test candles here. These were giving a strong indication that we are going to start moving back down. So I placed my entry at around about here. I actually know what the numbers were as well. So this was at 350 and this was at 470. So yeah, 12 pip stop loss. So I got into the market here. What time was this? This was the candle close yesterday, so 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock yesterday, and I am looking at an anticipated move down to the low here, which will give almost a 5-to-1 risk reward. However, if it is the bigger move that we are looking for, this could actually break through this area and continue moving to the downside. An important point to note here for management as well, we can see this low here, but where we have gaps like this, it's very likely that price will fill these gaps. So I'm going to be looking at a minimum of a 5.8 here, moving to the downside, and then price will eventually, possibly around here, as it trickles down, start to form something a little bit larger before it moves down to the low that we want it to before the move to the upside as well. So this is my trade. What am I running at the moment? Currently running just shy of 2.5%. So let's see how it goes.